All right, guys, here we are on location at the PCI 300 with More Racing, and we have the drivers of the 1688, Shane Lapka and Adam Tjelmeland. And welcome, guys. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you, Eric.
Right.
Thank you.
All right. So, first off, guys, tell me a little bit about your car. Who's the chassis and who builds the chassis? And
well, this is a one of, I think there's about 3 out there of these chassis built. The other person that inspired us to get this chassis was Kevin Smith.
Okay.
So we kind of go off a lot of his what's called insights of building this car to what he is. I mean, we see him as more of a role model of this car and how we have turned this into, from the carbon fiber panels that we upgraded. We did carbon fiber roofs, everything about the car, the setups, the rear shocks. These are certain custom-made shocks by Fox.
okay.
So these are the 3.0s in the rear. We got the custom shocks up here in the front that we got custom made down in Mexico.
Okay.
So based off that, I mean, it's a wonderful car, single-seater. Our transmission is a JG Trans. Motor is made by the best, I believe, is Majors. Andy has done a really good job of helping us excel our program and making us faster every race.
Excellent.
He's an awesome guy to have out here, because he'll come out here and I had multiple times to come out here and actually tune carbs and change valves and stuff. And you want an engine builder that's actually here at the track,
right?
Especially when you have an issue.
Yes, right. Absolutely.
He's awesome to have, dude.
Very, very cool. So, you guys are both driving the car. How do you guys determine who does what, and how do you split up your driving duties with this?
Well, we have kind of a, if you fuck up and hurt the car and the next guy doesn't get in, you're not starting next race.
Okay.
And
Fair
if
enough.
you do your job, you get out of the car and it's got 4 wheels and an engine and brakes.
Yeah.
You get to start again.
Okay.
So
right.
we've always just kind of switched that way. That way, if someone gets snaked on one of the races, that the other guy gets a chance to get in the car the next race.
There you go. Okay.
Everybody's been at that point where they're sitting there waiting for a car and it doesn't come back. So that's always a sad day.
Well, I understand that you guys have a fairly long lineage of racers. This isn't like your first time coming out here. Let's talk about what got you into racing and how long you guys been doing this.
Yeah, what got us into racing? It's family. This whole community out here is family oriented.
Mm-hmm.
I can go next door and ask them for some Loctite. Someone gives it to me, a power steering fluid, whatever it is. We kind of see that as how we built our program. Coming back from when I started doing this, I'm the stepson of his father. So, we took an old vintage car, broke it down to the chassis, powder coated it, and said, let's put it back together. Let's start racing again. My dad got into, he was raced Mixie Thompson back in the day, short course racing. And, that history,
he had a few championships in Mickey Thompson, then he had a score championship, and he's been racing since I was born. So I still remember coming out to the desert, running up to your dad, sitting in the car, bringing him a Gatorade.
Awesome.
It's always been a family thing.
That's excellent.
And that's where it really comes down to. It's everyone that works on the car. It's all family. We prep the car completely. We send out our motors and our trans, but we valve all of our shocks. We change all the oils and everything. We roll the car and demo it, then we're going to put it all back together. So it's learning the car. It's understanding every single nut and bolt. As a single driver, you have to know everything.
Yeah.
You have to know every part of the car. If you break down, you're fixing it, and you have to find a way to get back. If your radio doesn't work, you got to just make sure that every nut and bolt of the car to prep it. So we go down. It's more of a couple days a week. Down to the crunch time, and get out there and prep it, make sure everything is tight and right. And I think it really comes down to the family that we have, from my mother, my grandpa, and you know, just having the kids out there.
Wives are a big part of this team.
Yep, because wives, at the end of the day,
Yeah.
they let us go down the shop and get our fingers dirty every
That's it.
single week, and I think it's more therapy for us. You know? So,
The wives definitely have, especially Sue, but they have a big part in our team too.
And it's she's a sous chef, so you know, you guys are more than welcome to join us for a wonderful dinner today. But
I guarantee you, she'll cook too much.
Okay,
100% chance.
So, your dad's been racing for a long time. Is this your guys' first race car? Have you guys had another race car before this?
I started off in karts, then I went to midgets, and then we started another business. We have another business that does vintage race car restoration. So if like you're a doctor and you want to take and drive an Indy car, you buy the Indy car, we'll prep it, we'll take it to Indianapolis for you. You get in. My dad used to be a pro.
Sign me up.
And not a problem, just be a big
Riding
check on
drive.
zeros. Make sure you get all the zeros.
After or before the decimal?
Exactly. So we did that business. So I got to drive a couple of vintage cars, and then we had a mechanic that royally effed up. He put the engine oil or the transmission fluid in the engine. So brand new transmission, smoked it. My dad got pissed. We went out and we bought a 10 car, literally like in a week, and I fell back in love with racing because I didn't grow up with 1960s cars.
Yeah.
So, but I grew up in the dirt. I grew up with off-road cars, so getting back in the dirt was just it helped bring the family back together. I mean, everybody was there, and everybody
air-cooled 10 car. Let's take it back a couple centuries here. At the end of the day, the air-cooled, and then we decided to say, hey, we're going to chop off the rear. We're going to put Ecotech in it, and then we just messed up the whole geometry of the vehicle.
That car
was great.
Flying car, and then we got a Lumacraft, and we loved that car. And we sold that because of the transmission, right? It had the last of a...
It's the last case.
It had a unicorn for a transmission.
So we sold that, and then we decided, we had kids. We became parents, and, you know, they kind of put us down for about a year or two, and then we just got the itch again. You know, we just said, hey, this is what we love doing. We enjoy doing this. We love the camaraderie between other teammates out here, and you know, coming into the 1600 class is 10 was fun.
Yeah.
But 1600, it feels like we're in another family again. You know, you heading this and everything that you do to this sport and to the 1600 drivers is just amazing because it's the communication, it's the camaraderie. I can go talk to Krevling, I can go talk to Cole,
right?
I can go talk to anyone and be able to, hey, I need this or I need this part. And everyone just hands it over, and you know, that's what we just love about you know, is the 1600 family. And not only that, we get 16 guys, 17 guys every single race, that it just makes it so competitive. And at the end of the day,
I like having 16 guys show up for a race. 10 was, the Lumacraft was amazing to drive, but when you had 4 guys show up or 5 guys or 6, it's not the same as 16.
Well, a lot of times people forget that you've got 20 other pit boxes here, right? Because they all take the same spindles, they all take the same front arms, they all take the same CVs and axles and stuff. So, you know, there's a lot of trading and stuff that happens with all these. So
that's what's good about the limited class, and not, you know, we're not fabbing something out here. Everything is off the shelf half the time. And,
well, half the time.
So let's talk about where do you guys like to race? Where's your favorite venue or favorite race? Like, do you guys like the Baja out here in Lucerne and Barstow?
I think, for me, this is where I've had most of my best finishes.
Is that right?
Yeah. Okay. I think Lucerne, I like the fast. I mean, Barstow is our backyard too. You know, we enjoy it. I think it's just getting overran these days. You got the California 300 there now. You know, every more race, a lot more races out there. So it's a lot of the stuff that, you know, it's just getting so edgy, and you know, it already was edgy before. So at the end of the day, it's, you know, it's been I think Lucerne, fast, technical, get some silt out here. You know, we haven't experienced the Baja yet. You know, I think just a lot of the logistics side of that is, you know, from a small family outfit of our program, we're just not there yet. So, you know, I think Lucerne is, you know, it's great out here. We also love doing the Mint 400.
Right.
The
Yeah,
400,
the Mint's always
it's just, it's the history. It's going back and, hey, Dad did this in 1976, and I was down at this mile marker, and the stories and the vintage history of the Mint 400 and going down Fremont Street, and and we had some great opportunities. And last one I would say would be probably, we have a lot of redemption that we have to make it back, but Parker. Definitely would like to see us go back to the Parker again, and that was a fun race, but we haven't experienced that in the 1600 car. We did in the 10 car and had a little issue with the engine, with the fuel line that ruptured and popped the engine when we were in first, second.
I don't know when we started popping the fuel line, but then the engine ran lean, so I finished the next 80 miles on a lean engine, and it was toast. That was the last day it ran. So that engine became a boat anchor.
But yeah, we like to stick, I think, the Moore series in general. We've raced the Snores.
Well, Cody does a great job with his venues. I mean, he tries to change some stuff up. He does 2 different tracks, and then he does Glen Helen. So it's a lot of fun.
And it's the grassroots side of it, and I think coming down on the grassroots of having something that he's making a race for us.
Sure.
Not for a trophy truck, not for a class 1. He's looking at everyone else. He's looking at, separating classes. Look at the race that we're doing now, that we're separating. We're putting the limiteds over here. We're putting the unlimiteds over here. We're not going to be nerfing people and wrecking people's bumpers. And that's what it really got down to that, where it came down to a safety thing. And, I think Cody has really excelled his program out here, and he's really showed what grassroots racing is.
No, I couldn't agree more. Yeah.
That's why we stick to this, and that's why we sponsored, the True Grit Award.
Yeah.
We do a True Grit Award with PCI.
Okay.
And pretty much the story of the True Grit Award is we broke down
for a year.
And we were breaking down, and we always had a story of how we got back and how we finished.
Yeah.
We said, hey, why don't we put it out to everyone? Give me your story at the end of this race and tell me, how did you fix your car? How did you get to the finish line?
Perseverance.
I zip tied an open end on my CV to be able to get to the finish line, and it's those little stories that, and then we say, hey, you get a bottle of Fireball, you get a little pin, and you get a handheld radio. So it really turned into now. It turns into something at the award ceremony that everyone's all stoked to see this, to hear everyone's stories. And I think we're on.
Yeah, I came in with 3 wheels on fire in 4th gear because I didn't have any other gears and no brakes. But you made it.
Yeah.
I think we're on 12 years now of sponsoring this, so it's just
That's awesome.
It's just one of those things. It's nice to hear the stories. We used to go home and vote on them, and now you do it at the awards.
Cody does a great job with that. Well, that's perfect. That's a great segue into this. You talked about history. You talked about finding any way you can to get across the finish line. Let's talk about your guys' most memorable race. What's one race that sticks out more than any other one?
I would say that was probably the win out here for me. At least for me, we were doing good, but we were in second, squarely in second, and I was having problems getting the 10 car, shifting it and getting it to go into gate, and came into the pits. No, nothing's wrong. Of course, 3 miles out into the lap, it gets stuck in third, and I can't get literally shift. There's nothing.
Oh, wow.
And so we got another 50 miles to go in 3rd gear, and I didn't know it, but first place was having issues. So we just kept pressing. So you get to the finish line, we're sitting there, and I'm like, oh man, hey, did we keep second?
Yeah.
Or am I in second? So he goes, you're the first one here. And my co-driver was awesome. He looks at me and goes, don't fuck with my emotions, man. I love you, Aaron. And we were just like, oh shit. So it was a surprise win, considering we did the last 50 miles in 3rd gear.
Just 3rd gear. Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Right. Is that, or is there something else that's the craziest thing that's ever happened to you in a race?
I think for me, that's it.
Well, we've been in a couple crashes, I can say. We've had crashes where I've done a full endo and landed back on the tires with them, and the light bar's hanging in my lap. It's, you don't want to memorize, those ones. I think coming back to like my most memorable race and better achievement, let's call it, as a racer. I've only been in the seat for about 3 years. I was in the right-hand seat with him for about 13 years, 14 years in the 10 car. So I didn't really have a lot of and then I've learned on myself just in a single seater. So I don't have someone next to me to tell me, hey, you need to take this corner like this and this. So I've kind of almost learned my own way.
Sure.
And I think we've gone faster and faster. You know, this last race that we did out here for the shootout, 1600 shootout last year, we wanted to challenge ourselves. So my dad said, you know what we're doing? You're not qualifying. I said, okay, we're doing a rear start. And what we have 40 people that came out here. And he said, you're doing a rear start. And I said, okay, I'm going to challenge myself. I'm going to pace myself. He wasn't racing. He had some other obligations. And so I had to go.
Or something. I don't know.
I did start to finish 325 miles, wherever it was. And at the end of the day, after that night race, I went from 40th rear start to 7th place. And I think that as an achievement, as a driver, and, you know, learning, because at the end of the day, racing is not just getting in and going. It's maintaining the car, nutrition,
attrition, everything, all that stuff.
You got hydration. There's a lot involved that you have to win these races. And a 1600 car in a limited spec class, it's very difficult with all the amount of racers in the history of all these other people that are out here.
And everyone is pushing too, so you got to find that line. You know, do you cross it? You got to make up a little bit of time. So
and it's. I mean, I think the next generation and where this 1600 class is. You know, we've got Cole Harding going to 6100. You know, Tim Craigs hasn't been out here, so it's a lot of. I think the next people that are going to get faster out here, we're going to see them. We're going to see the Cockrells. We're going to see, and that's what those are the people that I look up to. Is the Craigs, the Coles, the Cockrells. You know, those are the people that are fast. I want to be you. I want to be in that position. So, you know, it's practicing. It's, you know, our new thing now is getting out in the desert at least once a month. Getting in the car. You know. Keep your feet wet. Don't get out of the groove. You know, constantly work on getting better. You know, and that's, you know, I was a Division I athlete, and coming from the football side, being coached and practicing and film, and I go home and I'll watch YouTube videos of just in-car video for 5 hours. Just, okay, how do I take this corner? How do I take this bump? You know, and it's just coaching yourself. And I think as learning it in that sense, very memorable in that sense.
Well, you touched on a little bit. I'd like to try and do something just outside racing. Like, what's a fun fact or an interesting fact that most people don't know about you? You said you did Division I sports.
Yeah, I was a Division I football player at San Jose State.
Okay.
My father was a NFL player. Played in the NFL for 5 years. Went to USC. Actually, he was a football player. My mom was a swimmer. So, my mom was an All-American swimmer. Made the Olympics. They boycotted the Olympics that year, and then went on and became my dad's agent. My dad went to the Giants, then went to Green Bay, the Colts, and then came back to the Rams.
Oh, wow.
And then was at Angel Stadium, and Walter Payton blew up his knee, and a ACL injury back then was a career-ending injury. So, you know, he got into the stunt industry and was a double for Hulk Hogan, and, you know, so it's a lot of different, now, you know, and then he went into, after that, he was a big motocross guy. So, did District 37. So as a kid, I used to come out to Glen Helen, go out to all the races, and, you know, he was a viewfinder, and, you know, he brought me into the dirt as a little kid. And then obviously when my mom got remarried and met Vince, then it got me back into the desert, and with age comes the cage.
That's what they say. How about you, Adam?
For me, well, my dad, like we were saying on the start of the team, he used to be the tallest professional race car driver, so he's just a short guy at 6'8". It's kind of like being the world's tallest jockey. It's kind of a dubious honor. I grew up, every car he's ever been in, we cut the firewall, moved the master cylinders on the other side, sink the seat to the bottom, weld it all the way to the back, and raise the roll hoop just to get him in any cars. So that's kind of interesting for the family side of it. For me, I'm a poker player. I have way too many hobbies: racing, poker, chess. I've everything. But
Video enthusiast.
video enthusiast. Yeah, we're talking. I had too much poker money, so I bought way too much cameras, and I have way too many hobbies.
Okay.
But yeah.
So, what do you guys like to do to get prepared for your race? It's race morning. How do you guys get psyched up, or do you guys need to like de-psych?
For me, it's de-psych,
Yeah.
and the best thing for me is being in the car.
Okay.
Just even if I'm just sitting in the damn pits, just sitting in the car or going around the track. Anytime I'm on the track and trying to study that means I'm not sitting here pacing nervous. I really hate waiting for the green flag. I'm fine once the green flag flies,
Right,
but I'm
right.
a nervous wreck until the green flag flies.
Same for me. I do a pre-stretch.
Okay.
Kind of stretch the body nice and warm, calisthenics, and I think sitting in the car. Once you get in the car, you're strapped in.
There's only one seat, guys. I don't know how both of you guys can sit in the car at the same time. Like,
Well, we do
real
share
cozy.
a lot of the driving duties, so it's a 50-50 thing over here, and we even the races where it's a one multiple loops, and we're not separating the classes. We still do a 50-50. It's two laps, and I think just you get the butterflies.
Sure.
I get them every single race. I get to the front line. You're breathing heavy those first 2 miles, and you feel like you're getting the cotton mouth going, and you're just like, should drink some more water, and And
I always think I need to pee. Like I go pee, get the suit on, get everything, belt down. I'm like, I gotta go pee again. I just peed. How do I need to pee again?
And I think once your body becomes a gummy bear and you're finally in that groove, and I think that's when you start relaxing after the first lap. But your adrenaline at that first lap that's where you make the most mistakes.
I call that my race face, right? Like when that green flag time. So how long does it take you to get your race face on? Is it right when the green flag's in? Like after you pass that first car?
A mile.
A mile?
Yeah, about mile 2 in.
Yeah.
Once you
Mile 1, I'm gonna be probably a little too hot. Mile 2, 3, 4, I'm back on pace.
Yeah, get back on it.
Yeah.
Well, guys, I want to thank you for coming out or letting me come out and interview you guys for June. I really want to extend my appreciation for this. So at this time, if you want to say thanks to sponsors, shout out to your sponsors and who you guys want to thank.
I'd love to thank Mike's. They're an ice cream shop right around the corner from us in Yorba Linda. Boyle Motorsports, good family friend and great people, and they make some awesome stuff that goes on space shuttles even. And obviously Sabina's been a big sponsor of this. PCI, friends with Scott and all his fish tank shenanigans. And any other sponsors?
Mackenzie's, Cartech. Thank you guys for always getting us the parts when we need them.
Yeah.
It's always a fire drill sometimes, and we had a fire drill this week, and they really came through. And last but not least, obviously JG Trans, killer transmissions, the turnarounds. It's just been a really good guy, very consistent.
Excellent.
And Andy over at Majors, he really does build some rocket ships. So we're really happy with our package that we currently have, and
we've tried a few of them.
Yeah, and obviously Fox Shocks been the best. I think these, we have got some custom one-off stuff on the car, and I think obviously we got some carbon fiber panels, which we did all in-house.
Okay.
All stuff we did in-house. We had a guy come over and.
Oh man!
A guy come over and get his hand, and so everything's kind of been in-house, and we do that. We thank everyone for and not last but not least, obviously our wives, mother, family, grandparents, are just our family, and we wouldn't be out here without them. With my father Vince, and supporting us and helping us and guiding us through what he truly loves to do,
right?
Is off-road racing. And at the end of the day, we appreciate you giving us the time to come out here and interview us.
Happy to do it, guys. Cool. All right, guys. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And guys, share this video. Drop a like. Leave a comment. Let us know how we're doing.
I don't know which side to like and comments on.
Yeah, like this, right? Yeah. Right. All right, guys. Thanks so much. Have a good one.